Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Offensive Penetration Testing course, Information Gathering. My name is Alejandro Guinea, and I'll be your instructor for today's lesson. The learning objective of this module is to understand several techniques and tools used by hackers to gather information. So let's get down to business, shall we? Hello, everybody, and welcome to the episode number 11, Google Hacks. The learning objectives is to understand what is Google Hacks and also use Google Hacks strings to gather information. Well, let's get down to business. Well, first of all, in my opinion, Google search, and in this case, Google Hacks are the only truly passive information gathering technique there is. Other techniques, even though they're not, noisy or intrusive, they do have to go to face, kind of a face-to-face with the victim system. So, for example, DNS information gathering or any other actually proven technique that you can apply, it has to somewhere along the way they have to touch the victim system. I'm not saying that you don't have to actually go to touch the victim system here, because maybe you have to go to the web page. But this is kind of public information. It's available to anybody. As the name sounds, it's actually reachable by Google. So you're not doing anything like, as a problem here. Even, being said that, it doesn't mean that you can actually do that for any other server that you don't have permissions, or any other business that you don't have permissions to do that. Because at the end, you will be finding really sensitive information in this Google search. But then again, it's available to anyone. So, you can find it, I can find it, anybody can find it, as it, again, is in Google. So there's that. Now, when I say Google search, I don't mean the usual searches we make in Google. This is actually called Google Hacks. So, as the name suggests, is using Google combined with advanced search options. Actually, there's even a page dedicated to that. I mean, you can actually, select check boxes and whatever for what you want to search. But as for this session, we'll be just using the simple browser, so you can actually see the options here. So just start the browser here, and for example, let me just go ahead and give you some good strings that you can use. For example, you can use, let me just copy paste here. The first command we will see is something called in URL, as the name suggests. We're looking for cameras, links, for example, and that it contains in URL main CGI, maybe some login web. For example, here you go here, and there's a login page for a web camera, a web camera. So you can see the problem here, and there's 102 results. So kind of a big deal. I mean, are you exposing the camera? Do they have the default or factory password and username? That's kind of a problem. You can, I mean, for this specific example, there's something called you can use different applications that are dedicated to find vulnerabilities in cameras and actually open them, and you can actually see the camera. What the camera is filming. There's web pages dedicated to that. You can actually just go to the web page, and it will show you something malicious, or not malicious per se, but you can actually see what the people is doing, and see them maybe mopping the floor in their houses or something like that. Kind of a big deal to me, because privacy is one of the concerns right now. But then again, you can do that. Again, going to in URL, I'm just showing you the strings you can use to find cameras. That's one of them. Here's another in URL that contains network cameras and web cameras. We go here. We can actually see the camera in this place. Again, kind of a big deal. I'm not doing something illegal here. This is actually available on the internet. That kind of, worries me about, But then again, another another Google search command. And I'm actually using these commands because I don't want to go and give you a course about what what you can actually achieve with each command, because again, you just have to Google hacks commands or options, for example, options, and you will have a lot of information with that. So I don't want to stay here and tell you, okay, this in URL does this or this in title does that. I just want to show you what you can actually do here. Let me just use the untitled option that I just mentioned. This is another entitled example. And again, we just go here and log in. What happens if I type this? Oh my gosh. Did I get the camera? I don't know. I don't want to find out anyways. But you get the point. A lot of strings for cameras. Let me just give you another one. And again, folks, this is available. I will show you a web page at the end of the of this course, and you will see that these strings are available to anybody that I can actually have access to Google. So, okay, what about printers? Kind of a big deal. I mean, you can't imagine how many times have I hacked a business by using their printer server or the printer itself. So kind of a big deal for me. Oops. Okay. I got banned by Google. Yeah, I'm not a machine. I'm not a robot, Google. You can imagine that. Okay, web page. A printer. Okay. Can I really see the job history? No, I can't. Come on. Administration mode. Okay, at least it has a password. But you get the point. I mean, you can actually find really, really sensitive information with this Google search. Let me just give you another for printers here. By the way, if I'm going too fast, you can just pause the video and see the commands I'm using. Another printer. Okay, print a test page. What will happen if I click that? I don't want to find out, man. I don't want to find out. Print jobs. What happens? Small, okay. Parallel printer. Serial printer, not jobs. View job log. Can I actually see the log? Oh my god. Okay, I don't want to keep digging. But you get the point. I mean, can you even consider that the printer you're actually using in your business is actually exposed to the internet? You can see how harmful can this be, and especially if you didn't bother to change the credentials that come by default. I mean, this is kind of a big deal to me. For example, email manager that is not up to date. Let me just. And I'm using Squirrel email or Squirrel Mail in the specific version in URL source and extension is PHP. But you can actually use other things. For example, okay, there you go, and up to date. And what's the harm about this? This is a passive gathering technique, but you can just go here, for example, and scroll, blah blah blah. And you can just go to a different Google and put that exploit. And most likely you will find information, okay, bug and CVE and, whatever, a lot of information to exploit that. So kind of a big deal, folks. Again, I'm showing you this and I'm trusting that you're actually decent people and that you will be using that to either strengthen the security countermeasures you have in your business, or you may want to make a career as a penetration tester and help your customers to actually improve their security with that. But we're actually at the start of the in the previous modules of this course I showed you some basic techniques But this is the first session that we're actually starting as the penetration testing process goes on. Because at the end, the first thing you have to do is to actually gather information about your victim. For example, a list of servers, with a not updated or not up to date version. For example, welcome to Windows Small Business Server 2003. Okay, 397 results. Kind of a big deal at all. Entitled Apache. For example, Apache. How many Apaches are there? Okay, a lot of Apaches. And you get the idea. I mean, you can actually search whatever that comes to your mind. And, for example, username and password, for an administrator exposed to the internet. Yeah, that kind of, it's a little bit scary, but, okay, GitHub. Okay, I don't care about that, but, front page from different businesses, actually 115 results. So kind of scary, don't you think? I mean, this is actually files that contain password and username. I'm afraid to click any of them because I don't want to show you the information that these guys have, but you get the idea. Servers that contain, for example, a file called password.txt, which, as you can imagine, wow, look at the results. That's kind of scary, you guys. I mean, oh my gosh, I hope you don't find the name of your business in these web pages or with this web search. Okay, database passwords. Again, guys, if I'm going too fast, it's just because I want to show you all the examples you can use. Actually, this session is to open your mind to the possibilities you have to actually use Google as your as your first information gathering options, and in the process, in the penetration testing process, this might be your first step, so you can gather information. And I'm not saying information about server itself, but you can find actual information. Back in the day, I was trying to hack a customer, but I wasn't able to hack it. I mean, they did have a lot of countermeasures put in place in the perimeter. Also, they did have a good resilience in their network, in their internal network. They have virtual LANs, and they have firewalls, they have IPSs, and they have every technology you can imagine. So I wasn't able to actually hack them. But what I did is I used Google to search for all the employees, their social networks, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. And I did find a guy that was actually really invested. I mean, this guy had a hobby with classic cards. So I created a fake page with a classic card, and I told him that I was actually selling one card, because I did tell him that I was in a hurry. I needed to sell because I was to move the country, and I told a story, and I sent a link. I mean, actually creating the web page and crafting the link and exploit in the reverse shell wasn't that difficult. It took me like, I don't know, a day maybe. Less than that. But the point is, I was able to do that because I use social networks and Google Hacks to actually find all the employees and their social profiles. And I was able to gather that information. So back to the Google Hacks, database passwords. Oh my God, you can see how many passwords you can find here. So this is kind of scary, you guys. I don't know if you're thinking the same I'm thinking, but this is scary. And you're probably thinking, okay, how can I actually get these commands? They seem complicated. For example, file type, in text. I don't know. Yeah, you can just go to this web page. I'm going to leave it a little light so you can, glance it a little bit. But this is just Google Hacking Database, and you can see a lot of commands in here, and they even tell you what this does. For example, sensitive directories, pages containing login portals. So you can just copy and paste that. For example, you want to maybe something specific to Apache, well, maybe we don't find it, SSH, sensitive directories, okay, SSH.ini, SSH whatever, SSH something specific to maybe SMB, okay, files containing juicy info. Well, let's copy paste this one. You see how simple it is. I mean, I'm not inventing anything here, and I'm not inventing the wheel, you guys. I'm not inventing anything. I'm just using what's available to me. So yeah, pretty scary results. So you get the idea, you guys. I mean, you can use Google Hacks to find information, to passively find information for your victim. Post-assessment questions. Is this information gathering technique considered passive or active? Well, it's actually considered passive because you're not actually interacting with any of your victims' server or information directly. What is performed by the command in URL? Well, it will search for whatever you pass to that command that is contained in the URL. What is performed by the command ext? Well, it will search all the pages containing a file with that specific extension. For example, PHP. In this video, we saw the most common Google Hacks options to gather information. We executed some Google Hacks strings to see the results. Supplemental materials. There's a book called Google Hacks, Tips and Tools for Finding and Using the World's Information. I highly recommend you to do that. I mean, I think there's even a seminar about this book, but don't take my word for granted. But I'm sure about this book. This is a really cool book. I have it. I read it, and this is how I found out about Google Hacks and the amazing things you can do with that. Looking forward, in the next video, we'll cover some DNS enumeration techniques. Well, that's it for today, folks. I hope you enjoyed the video and talk to you soon.